tubers, how are we guys? We're back in Melbourne, as you know. Had to cut off the volunteering a little bit early because of the virus, so we're stuck at home bored stupid. But anyway, that's all good. Now what I'm going to show you today is a little thing I set up for cutting and processing our firewood. Now what you're seeing there is an old Ronaldson Tippet Type N stationary motor. I'm pretty sure it's from the 40s or 50s. I've had it for quite a few years now. I've restored it, it'd be over 10 years ago now, probably 10 to 15 years ago. It needs it again by the look of it. It's sort of looking a bit sad, you know, the birds have been pooping on it and that kind of thing, but it runs like a Swiss watch. And what we've got it doing is it's belt driving well, it's not a bandsaw, but just a wood saw. I picked up that assembly off eBay some time back from a guy out the other side of Ballarat, and it needed all cleaning up and that, which I did, and painted it and did a bit of welding and that sort of thing. We put on a idler just to help keep the belt at a nice tension when she's running. I'll show you that. Put a car alternator on it, and that runs or charges a battery as she's going. So you can see it's just a belt running off one of the flywheels. Goes up to the alternator, spins that quick enough. That's controlled by a little switchboard, so that one is your ignition on basically, or you know, to excite the coils in the alternator. That one's your working lights. I put some lights up around the little woodshed just so you can see out here at night if you need to. So that's what that's for. A little gauge there to tell you how many volts we're making. Cigarette lighter, not that anyone smokes around here, but if you want to plug something in. And that one inside the box is an inverter. So I've just hooked that up, you turn that on, and you get a bit of radio, 240 volts. So yeah, there's 240 volts out here as well, but it's only off about 100 watt inverter, so you're not going to run much off it, but it's a bit of noise. The saw itself is a beauty. That we had it sharpened a little while ago, and I tell you what, this thing will go through bloody anything. I mean, it will go through hardwood, softwood, sleepers, you name it, it'll go through it. Now, this sort of little setup here has saved us a lot of money, believe it or not. Cutting all this wood. Now, if you have to chainsaw all that, which we used to, you go through a fair share of chains, a lot of sharpening, a lot of two-stroke oil, a lot of petrol, and a lot of chain oil, and whatever maintenance the saw needs. This thing, you put a litre of petrol in it, and she goes for ages, and it costs next to nothing to run. I reckon we've saved hundreds of dollars, you know, just in costs of running a bloody saw over the years. So, but no, she's a beauty. But what we're going to do is, I'll set this camera up on a tripod and show you how we get it going and all of that. It's pretty simple. If you look, it's got two caps. One's for petrol, one's for kerosene. I think the reasoning behind that in the day was kerosene was a lot cheaper than petrol, so they'd start them on petrol, and once the motor had enough heat in it, it'd automatically switch over to kerosene. Now if you look at the top of the tank, see there's that little hole. You're only putting in a very small amount of petrol, and of course the other one is kerosene. So, now I can't get the cap back on. Hang on, there we go. So yeah, that was back then, of course. I mean, these days I just fill it up with petrol, and away she goes. It's not that expensive. That's your fuel tap. You just crack that open a little bit. That is a choke. So when you're cranking her over by hand, you push that in from a cold start, and that acts like a choke. The moment you get a fire, you let it go, and away she'll go. What else have we got here? That's just the header tank for the water. That has a slight leak around here. It's rusted from the inside, so I've got to actually take that off and weld up a bit of a plate on it just to seal it all up again. What else we've got? There's the ID tag down there, so it gives you a little bit of an idea. Type N, revolutions, that sort of thing. That's your oil dipstick, so you just pop that out, and that gives you your oil level. So that's easy. That's where you also fill it, not through that little hole. You just unclip that, and you can fill it up with oil from there. And that's about it. So we might set this up on the tripod and show you how we start it and cut a piece of wood. Righto tubers, we're on the tripod now, so we found the keys. Here they are. Yeah, I know, funny looking keys. To start him up, bring it around to the compression stroke. You'll feel it go really tight. Make sure your fuel's on. Push the choke in. The moment you hear a fire, let the choke off. We'll try that again. Well, that's it for that one, guys. Just a short little video, just trying to keep ourselves amused with this virus, the way things are going. You can't do much, obviously. There's travel restrictions and all that kind of thing. But once they are lifted, we are off to Western Australia and looking forward to it. So don't know when that'll be. It could be next week. It could be next year. But anyway, guys, we shall talk real soon. Have fun, people, and stay well.